Parents who have checked their child's internet history, what is the weirdest or most fucked up thing you found on it? My friend's kid searched on cows pooping, and apparently watched many YouTube videos of cows pooping. I heard my son saying to Siri, "Siri, show me videos of hippos pooping." A minute later I hear dubstep coming from the iPad. Siri had given him a video of hippos pooping set to dubstep. My daughter is only 7 years old, so nothing so far. But about 10 years ago, I was using my ex-little brother's laptop for a few days, checked his search history and found a few weird things. He must have only been around 15 at the time. There were Google searches for naked truth or dare and dildo under the age of 8. Needless to say, I promptly turned the laptop off and never spoke of it again. Stepdaughter was into Ninja Turtles for a while. She would read fanfiction and roleplay with some random people. She would pretend to be pregnant with turtle babies triplets. And another time she was one of the Ninja Turtles having gay sex with another turtle. A direct quote was, "I rub my dick on your dick and moan lightly." There are some things you do not need to find. Lol. I hope in 15 years she Googles that exact quote and an archive of this comment appears. My kids have an old Android phone of mine that we let them play games on. My son is 4 and managed to figure out how to use the Google voice search. He went and hid in his room and searched for YouTube videos on how to grow up. This is about my mom and my brother, who was 14 at the time. My brother was just discovering internet porn and would get up really early in the morning to look at it. My mom caught on after a virus was downloaded and she started looking up the history. One morning my brother looks at a website with an address like jugs.com or something, but he spells it wrong and it takes him to a sport website. When my mom gets up, she looks at the history, sees it, and at breakfast she looks at him. "If you wanted porn, you should have spelled it with TG." His face was priceless. Not me, but my boss told me a story of his 8-year-old son's YouTube history. Apparently he would take the iPad and just watch videos of Asian children crying for hours on end. Why would these videos even exist in the first place? My 10-year-old Googled sexy vagina. His spelling is atrocious. A friend's younger brother was starting to get to that age, I think 11 or so. Their family computer kept getting infected with viruses and whatnot. Parents would not do much about it until they found how big is a vagina in the Google search, and they decided to sit him down for a little sex ed. Cracks me up every time. I deleted my dad's porn history and he was pissed. It was the early 2000s and he had a subscription to Reality Kings. Is it weird I jacked off to the same porn my dad did? I searched boob when I was younger on the family computer, and we were all called over to figure out which one of me and my siblings did it. My older brother got the blame as he was the only boy. Sorry bro, it was me. Lol, reminds me of when I was using the computer at my grandma's house as a kid. I typed in some random website, girly.com I think, back in the 90s, when I was 7 or 8, thinking it would be a girl's magazine or something. Of course it ended up being very tasteful lesbian porn. So I snuck back later that night and looked at all the photos that were free on the site. My young adult male cousin got the blame for that one. Not my kids, but when I was in high school, my best friend and I went through his little brother's computer. To my amazement, in a week he had gone from simple boob searches on Google to finding hardcore bestiality. And there wasn't just one site, there were several over 2 days. We clicked on the first one and both of us started to gag, and didn't check any others out. We decided not to throw him under the bus to his parents. But as we all played Halo after, we kept making analogies for anything negative that happened to animal porn. We were dying by the end of it, and little bro just left uncomfortably. Never found it on his comp again, but he may have just cleared his history from then on. My son was looking for nice recs. When confronted, he pointed out we told him he could decorate his room, and he was looking for shelving. 10 out of 10 for creativity on the spot. My parents used to catch me Googling for gangbangs, funny times. You make it sound like it happened a lot. My mom used to give me crap for finding my search history, that of course had porn in it. This was late 90s, early 2000s. The problem was my mom is actually, and still is, bad with computers. She knows enough to do her job at work, and that's about where that knowledge ends. So one night she comes to my room to berate me for looking at porn, and threatens to install parental control software. And in a move only a smart-ass teenager would think is brilliant, said, "Are you going to have me install it too?" My parents are divorced, so she immediately phoned my dad and complained to him about how I am out of control. She eventually hands the phone to me and my dad says, "Son, that was funny as hell, but don't talk back to your mother and don't be so obvious about your porn habits." When my son was about 8, he had been searching for vagina and clearly come across some websites that told him had been blocked due to content filtering. That was the point at which he went searching for unblocked vagina. It still worries me what horrors that search for. Well, this happened to me, but my dad when I was younger saw 60-year-old penis in my search bar and was completely shocked. Still super embarrassing to think about. I have deleted history so many times, I don't even know who the Romans were. Although it's the opposite of the question, I once found my dad's search history. He stayed up and had a pretty heavy night of drinking, which explains why I found my laptop in the living room instead of my room, where it usually is. I take a seat, ready to delve into whatever rabbit hole my dad dug for me in a bout of intoxication. I open the laptop screen and there is my home page. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing was downloaded. So far, so good. I decide to open up Chrome and check the history. As I braced myself for impact, I noticed that everything in there was browsed by myself the day before. Reddit, Facebook, Latvian amputated pterodactyl porn, Gmail. All me, no traces of my dad anywhere to be seen. Now, the meek-willed would have been satisfied with this. But no, this did not explain why the laptop was in the living room. I know for a fact that my dad used this. Addison, Marie Curie, Jana Michaels colonoscopist, all went one step further to leave their mark in human history. I was no different, and like a wave, it dawned on me what I to do. Open Safari. My dad was known to be a Safari browser on the rare occasion where he actually used the laptop. I open it up and check history, and sure as shit, there it fucking is. I am not going to tell you what it was, in the form of a story. I am just going to mimic his actions and show you his thought process. Open Safari, www.google.com, search bar, porn first result, pornhub.com, click link. Pornhub homepage search bar, porn, first result, a video entitled porn. User stayed on this page for 41 seconds, and that was it. Just like that, I had witnessed the endeavors of a primal man with primal needs. The man who taught me to walk and talk, Googled porn and clicked the first link. The man who taught me how to shave, search porn while already on Pornhub. I learned a lot about my father that day, and I will be damned if this story does not come up at his funeral. Here is to you, Pops. My son is 16 now, so this was about 4 years ago. I had got a new tablet and he had gotten in the habit of taking it into his room to play games on. I got curious one day and looked at the search history, Pokemon cheat code, Halo map, big boobies, dick suck, Minecraft. It was such an odd mix I had to laugh. I bookmarked some sites that he could look at that were not hardcore porn, see swimsuit site, etc. I let him know he could look at these and it was okay. The last few years has had his own laptop and I really don't even bother anymore. Trying to control a teenage boy's masturbatory habits is the definition of fighting a losing battle. You should have bookmarked a few softcore sites, and then one where clowns fart on each other just to mess up his sex life. When I was around 12, I would look up 12-year-old girls' naked porn. Surprised we never got a visit from the government, although this probably put me on a list. I caught my 8-year-old brother looking up naked 8-year-old with boobs, naked 8-year-old pretty, and, my personal favorite, naked 8-year-old ugly. He is 10 now and does not know I seen anything. Had I been older, I probably would have talked to him about it, but I was a pretty naive 16-year-old, so I just deleted his history. I check his history now from time to time though. I hope listing his searches didn't put me on any list. Lol. My 6-year-old is into My Little Pony and Undertale stuff on YouTube. Every so often I will have to stop a video where some neckbeard takes the subject to uncomfortable levels. I can explain sexuality, violence, etc. But how do you explain a grown man spending 15 minutes rendering rainbow-anus while listening to J-pop? How do you explain Sans and Papyrus making out and holding bones with blushy faces and hearts? I have taken a very realistic approach towards parenting and telling my daughters the facts of life. Santa isn't real, dragons and unicorns are make-believe, but some shit on the internet is extremely difficult to explain. My kid looked up Ruth Ginsburg naked, Clinton naked, Hillary Clinton naked, followed by SpongeBob, lyrics Life on Mars, ending with Condoleezza Rice naked. Needless to say, there was no more internet for her, still trying to figure out why she wanted to see those people of all people naked, but we can't talk about that, too weird. Oh Lord, if my parents checked my log between the age of 12, present, 19. It'd have a lot to explain. My history was cuter when I was younger. Simpsons sex on YouTube in 2007. Now it's Euphoria. Thanks for watching. Share your story in the comment.